Preparing for Adulthood. Walking into adulthood in shoes that don't quite fit. The following script details different stories of young people's journeys through adulthood. All the information is based on the real lives of young people and have been developed into a timeline to present the many journeys young people face during key transitional events such as education, mental health, employment, foster care, children's services and identity. Through primary school to secondary school, I really enjoyed being outdoors and den making, and this was encouraged by the teachers and it felt supportive. When I started secondary, I felt so much more pressure to achieve academically and less able to express and achieve creatively.
When I was 13 years old, I began to experience poor mental health. It wasn't till I was 16 that I was seen by CAMHS. By the age of 17, I was able to access sessions at CAMHS. It was good to be able to talk to someone, and this made me feel supported.
When I was 13, I wanted support around my identity and gender. I found it hard to find trans services and support anywhere in the UK unless you're 18. It felt like society thought that this kind of support was given out too easily, and that if you're under 18, you're too young. In reality, I felt like I was grasping at straws. My teachers respected my name change though, and I can remember my teacher changing my name on the school database. This really helped.
When I was 13, I remember the teachers being understanding, especially with my anxiety, and when I felt overwhelmed.
At 14, I remember doing the RE lessons at school. My adopted parents are in a same-sex relationship. My school's curriculum excluded same-sex families in the RE curriculum and in their family section. You are not allowed to question this. I felt different, excluded and unheard. We're also not given any sex education lessons at my school. How do I prepare for adulthood without this, along with feeling misunderstood and without a voice?
At 14, I was given the title of being gifted and talented at school, but they failed to notice that I was also depressed. When I was 15, I had a fantastic maths and English teacher that encouraged me to be creative and work in different ways to help me understand. They spent time trying to build relationships with me and the other students and get to know us. My maths teacher had autism like me, and it really helped me as he had different and helpful ways of doing things.
At 16, I remember having a really supportive teacher that noticed I was finding things difficult with my mental health. I liked to sing, and they would let me chill and sing in the classroom during dinner time. When I was 16, I was first put on a waiting list for hormone treatment, and the journey began. How long was I expected to be on the waiting list? I had no idea.
I'm 16 and I feel like I am just tossed between services and I have to fit a box to access them. Or am I not right for their services? What's wrong with me?
At 17, I left school and began my journey to sixth form. I didn't feel well prepared. However, I do suggest that taking part in enjoyable activities, volunteering, or doing something meaningful over the summer holidays in between this period is a good way of maintaining positive mental health. When I was 17, I started sixth form. If you joined externally, you were ignored and made to not feel good enough. Where transition support was in place for the feeder school, it was not in place for those outside of that.
When I turned 17, I was offered art therapy. As a young person with ASD, autism spectrum disorder, art is a great way to express myself as words and vulnerability are often difficult. I think occupational therapy should be more easily accessible for all young people.
I remember turning 17 because this was the age I was diagnosed with autism. It felt a little too late as I did not get any support during my GCSEs. When I was 18, I spent my birthday in a lockdown due to the pandemic. Somehow it didn't feel as special as I'd have expected the moment to be. It was hard not being able to see friends and go out. So all of a sudden, I'm an adult, but I'm still not being listened to. Everything is moving so fast. I'm no longer in education and I need to find a job at a time most businesses are closed. So far, turning 18 has not been great, and suddenly I have loads of extra responsibilities. Somehow, I found my own voice and accepted that I am an adult on my own terms. I tried to embrace my responsibilities and I found a job. It started to feel like a new chapter for me.
At 18, I dropped out of sixth form due to my mental health and started working full time. I started to feel independent, earning my own income, and when I passed my driving test at 18, this boosted my independence even more. Looking back, I wish I knew about these services and support I could have accessed through my sixth form. I felt pressured by others to go to sixth form to achieve academically, or could fail if I didn't.
At 18, I transitioned from child to adult mental health services. I took part in group therapy for low mood. At first it felt a little intimidating, but turned out to be a very positive experience. You didn't have to talk if you didn't want to, and the other group members made it feel like a very supportive environment. It was a mix of different people that were all different ages. I found the group supportive. Maybe having someone to attend the first session with me would have helped me to feel less scared. I was able to go to it, but I can see why some people may never feel confident to attend that initial session.
When I was 18, I also transitioned from CAMS to adult services, but I was left with a diagnosis and felt abandoned by them. At this age, my adoption placement was also breaking down, and it felt like no one cared, as I was now an adult because I was 18. I also felt the after adoption team forgot I existed. 6 months before I turned 18, I was told I was unable to make my own decisions and I was considered immature by what felt like the most people around me.
So now I'm 18 and apparently an adult. I have a life-changing illness that I must try and handle, alongside long waiting lists and endless hospital appointments. I am also AFAB, assigned female at birth, and felt misunderstood around some male doctors. I'd prefer to talk to a female doctor, but nobody asked me and I didn't feel like I could say it.
At 18, I found a voluntary organisation that works at my sixth form/college. I took part in their weekly wellbeing sessions. This turned into an open door for more opportunities, and I am still involved with them till this day.
I turned 18, so now I often feel like no one cares anymore if I want to live or die, as I'm seen as an adult with capacity to make decisions. I still see myself as a young person that needs ongoing care and the right support.
So now I'm 18, navigating the complicated move from children's to adult services. I'm going from service to service, and I'm finding it so difficult to have conversations with professionals. My social worker's been great though. She's always looking for other opportunities I might like to get involved with. And I'm on a board that represents looked after children and care leavers, and I'm part of another group that helps change mental health services and support for other young people.
I am 18 and I'm about to be supported to transition into adult mental health services. I know there's a national push for mental health services to go up to 25, which gives hope for positive change. I certainly don't feel like an adult or ready to transition to an adult services. Do I have to repeat my story again?
I've just turned 18. I've been in foster care for 1 year now. It was tough going into foster care during a pandemic, but far better than being in a household that became a negative environment for me. Being in a safer and more friendly space helps, but it was hard and it took a lot for me to talk about what was going on.
At 19 years old, I found a voluntary organisation that worked around youth voice and mental health service change. This was a place I felt supported and safe, as well as being able to make things better for other people. I'm also able to access professional development opportunities, and they recognise a person as young up to the age of 25.
I turned 19 but had no bodily autonomy in AFAB, assigned female at birth, healthcare, and was made to feel like my decisions were rash or hormonal.
At 20, I began to learn about healthy and toxic relationships and identify negative ones in my life through friendships I've had around me at the time. I was able to let go of those relationships. I feel better and less restricted. I was able to find my own voice without feeling judged, to learn about healthy relationships, sex ed, and what this should look like at much younger age in school, and again throughout higher education, is something I feel would have been
huge support for young people transitioning into adulthood.
I am now 20 and I've been on the waiting list for 4 years for hormone treatment. In fact, I haven't heard anything from them for 1.5 years. I wonder why they haven't contacted me for so long, maybe due to COVID. How long will I be waiting for?
At 20, I remember having the opportunity to speak about my transition journey around my mental health in university at NHS Yorkshire and Humber event called Future Directions. This made me feel empowered, listening to those working in that field and as though I was helping make a change. I remember thinking about how good it was that service across Yorkshire and Humber at the event valued participation and young people in service design at a regional level.
At 21, I became a qualified mental health instructor and helped co-deliver mental health training for a voluntary youth organisation that I stayed involved with and still involved with for around 5 years now. This became a huge protective factor for my mental health. Helping us build protective factors throughout adulthood is something that can help me and so many more young people. This can help us stay well and have hope.
Through primary to secondary school, I really enjoyed being outdoors and den making, and this was encouraged by teachers and it felt very supportive. When I started secondary, I felt so much more pressure to achieve academically and less able to express and achieve creatively. I had all sorts of things going on and I began self-harming to cope as it was the only way I knew how. My school began doing a risk check for self-harm with everyone every single morning. I can remember doing the youth mental health first aider training and being aware that it is not a supportive approach to mental health or self-harm. I wrote a letter to school to tell them that the self-harm is often a secretive act and people self-harm in many different ways, not just by cutting and not just on your wrists. The risk check could encourage many people to self-harm more secretly, so I suggested better ways to support this in my letter to the school. I was surprised yet very proud of myself when they listened to me and changes were put in place and the risk check stopped. I am still 14 and I've made some positive changes to support, but I'm still struggling with my own mental health. Let us work together so when I walk through to adulthood, it is in shoes that do fit.
Have you tried going outside? Get a grip. Just get over it. There's plenty of people in worse situations than you. What's in your pants, a penis or a vagina or just chaos? Have you tried cooking some healthy food? It's only a superficial cut. You asked for it with all this attention seeking. Have you tried taking a bath? Oh, you'll be fine next week. Show me your wrists. Have you thought about what that would do to your grandma if you wasn't here anymore?
Instead of "I'm sorry," show empathy and be genuine. Let me know I'm not alone. Create a safe environment so I can open up more. Validate my experience instead of ignoring it. Ask me open-ended questions and don't try fill the silence. It makes time to gather my thoughts. Be warm and approachable, with eye contact and reassuring body language. Respect confidentiality and dedicate time to build trust with me. Offer me relevant information and support. Don't always expect a reason from me. Avoid looking for a why. Acknowledge and clarify back to me so I know you've understood.
Transitions are recognised as a big and varied issue for young people, and mental health services are constantly looking for ways to help young people navigate the complicated move from children's to adult services. The Chili Pep Stamp Support, Think, Act, Motivate, Participate group designed the digital mental health passport to help with transitions from service to service. These upheavals can be often difficult and challenging, especially when someone is living with a mental health problem. Young people have said that meeting new young people and having to repeat their sensitive and triggering stories can be distressing. They lose track of who knows what and what they've said. The My Mental Health Passport website is a free space where young people can describe their experiences, preferences, emotions and feelings in a confidential environment. It's been designed by young people for young people, so they can have more control over their information and their own stories. They've also added an emoji journal so young people can keep track on mood or experiences between appointments to give a truer reflection of how they've been over the course of a week or even a month. When, where and how young people share their personal information in the passport is up to them, but it'll hopefully help them manage those difficult conversations with professionals. The website also includes a help and advice section with a list of other websites that can offer support, even if you're not logged in. So, it's called My Mental Health Passport, and you can visit the website at www.mymhp.org.uk. That's www.mymhp.org.uk.